Have you ever driven past an abandoned building and thought, what if? Today, I'm going to tell you the story of two friends who did more than wonder, they acted, and changed their lives forever. Before we dive into this incredible journey of friendship, perseverance, and restoration, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to follow more stories of ordinary people achieving extraordinary dreams. The rain pounded against the windshield as Marcus Webb squinted through the foggy glass, trying to navigate the winding country road that seemed to lead nowhere. Beside him, Ellie Harmon studied the crumpled map, her brow furrowed in concentration. "We should have taken that left turn 3 miles back," she muttered, brushing a strand of dark hair from her face. Marcus laughed despite their predicament. "Isn't that what I said before you insisted we were on the right track?" 12 years of friendship had given them the comfortable rhythm of siblings, complete with the bickering and unwavering loyalty. They had met in culinary school, both dreaming of opening a restaurant someday. Life had taken them in different directions, Marcus to hotel management and Ellie to interior design, but their shared dream had never died. The car rounded a bend, and suddenly, through a break in the dense forest, they saw it. Perched on a hill overlooking a valley of emerald green, stood Thornfield Castle, its weathered stone walls catching the last golden rays of sunlight breaking through the storm clouds. "Stop the car," Ellie whispered, her voice filled with awe. Marcus pulled over, and they both stared in silence at the abandoned structure. With its crumbling towers and ivy-covered walls, it looked like something from a fairy tale, albeit one where the characters had left a century ago. "It's perfect," Ellie breathed. Marcus turned to her with an incredulous expression. "Perfect? It's falling apart." But even as he spoke, he felt something stir inside him. The property listing had described it merely as historic estate in need of renovation. What stood before them was a forgotten piece of history, abandoned for decades but somehow still dignified in its decay. "Think about it," Ellie said, her eyes sparkling with excitement. "Our hotel, our restaurant, our dream, all in one magnificent location." "Our bankruptcy," Marcus corrected, but he was already calculating costs and possibilities in his head. That rainy afternoon marked the beginning of a journey neither of them could have fully imagined. The castle, built in 1823 by a wealthy merchant who had fallen in love with Gothic architecture, had passed through generations before being abandoned during World War II. The asking price was surprisingly affordable, the catch being the astronomical renovation costs. Using their life savings and securing a loan that made both their financial advisors wince, Marcus and Ellie became the improbable owners of Thornfield Castle. The magnitude of what they had undertaken hit them on moving day. Standing in the grand entrance hall with its soaring ceilings and cracked marble floor, Marcus felt a wave of panic. "What have we done?" he whispered, his voice echoing through the empty space. Ellie squeezed his hand. "We've taken the first step toward something amazing." The first winter was brutal. They lived in 2 small rooms they managed to make habitable, using space heaters against the biting cold that seeped through the ancient walls. Every morning, they would wake before dawn and work until they couldn't stand, clearing debris, assessing damage, and planning renovations. Local contractors shook their heads at the project. "You're looking at 5 years minimum," said Harold, a gruff builder with 40 years of experience. "And that's if you've got unlimited funds, which I'm guessing you don't." He wasn't wrong. By spring, their financial situation had become dire. The initial budget had evaporated faster than morning dew, consumed by unexpected structural issues and the specialized craftsmanship required for historical restoration. Their friendship faced its first real test when they received an offer from a development company wanting to turn the castle into luxury apartments. "We could walk away with enough to start a small restaurant," Marcus argued during a tense dinner of reheated pasta. "This was our original dream, remember?" "This is our dream now," Ellie countered, gesturing around them. "I'm not giving up." They fought as only old friends can, with brutal honesty and without mercy. For 3 days, they barely spoke, each nursing their wounds and fears in silence. The turning point came unexpectedly. While clearing out what had once been the castle library, they discovered a hidden compartment containing the journals of Lady Isabella, the merchant's wife who had first lived in the castle. Her writings revealed a woman of remarkable vision who had faced opposition to her ideas of turning part of the estate into a school for local children. "People will always tell you that your dreams are impractical," she had written. "The secret is to be more stubborn than your doubters." Reading these words from across the centuries, Marcus and Ellie looked at each other and something shifted. They weren't just renovating a building, they were continuing a legacy. With renewed determination, they got creative. They started offering guided tours of the renovation process on weekends, charging visitors who were curious about the project. Ellie began documenting their journey on social media, attracting a following of history enthusiasts and renovation fans. Marcus reached out to a historical preservation society that provided a modest grant and valuable expertise. The local community, initially skeptical, gradually warmed to the outsiders. Mrs. Pemberton from the village bakery began bringing them fresh bread on Sundays. Tom Fletcher, a retired craftsman, volunteered his services restoring the intricate woodwork in the main hall. Slowly, Thornfield Castle was becoming not just Marcus and Ellie's project, but a community endeavor. The second year brought both progress and heartbreak. The East Wing was taking shape beautifully, with 5 luxurious suites nearing completion. Then, disaster struck. A violent storm damaged the newly repaired roof, sending water cascading through the upper floors and destroying months of work. Ellie found Marcus sitting amidst the soggy debris at dawn, his shoulders shaking with silent tears. "I can't do this anymore," he said without looking up. "I'm not strong enough." Instead of offering empty reassurances, Ellie sat beside him in the wreckage. "Then I'll be strong enough for both of us today. Tomorrow might be my turn to fall apart, and you'll hold me up." That simple truth, that they didn't need to be invincible, just willing to support each other through the inevitable collapses, became their saving grace. By the third year, personal sacrifices mounted. Marcus's long-term relationship ended when his partner grew tired of competing with the castle for his attention. Ellie postponed her dream of starting a family, pouring all her maternal energy into nurturing the project instead. Both had become leaner, tougher versions of themselves, with calloused hands and a stubborn resilience that surprised even them. The transformation of the castle accelerated as they learned to work smarter. They focused on completing one wing entirely so they could begin hosting paying guests, using the income to fund further renovations. The grand dining room, with its restored ceiling murals and hand-carved fireplace, became the jewel of the property, showcasing Marcus's culinary talents through weekend dinner events. Word spread. A travel blogger stayed overnight and wrote a glowing review. A wedding planner brought clients to tour the venue. A historical magazine featured them in a spread about modern preservation efforts. For years after that rainy first viewing, Thornfield Castle Hotel officially opened with 12 unique suites, a renowned restaurant featuring locally sourced ingredients, and gardens that had been reclaimed from wilderness to reflect their original 19th-century design. On opening night, as guests in evening wear milled about the illuminated grounds, Marcus and Ellie stole a moment alone in Lady Isabella's library, now restored with reading nooks and original volumes. "We did it," Marcus said softly, touching the leather-bound journal that had given them courage when they needed it most. Ellie shook her head. "We're doing it. This is just the beginning." She was right. The hotel received its first official 4-star rating in its second year of operation. Thornfield Castle became known for its perfect balance of historical authenticity and modern luxury, each room telling part of the castle's story while providing the comfort contemporary travelers expected. Their success wasn't without continued challenges. Managing staff, maintaining the aging infrastructure, and handling the inevitable difficult guests tested them daily. But with each problem they solved, their confidence grew. Perhaps the most remarkable transformation wasn't the castle itself, but what the project had done to them. Marcus, once risk-averse and methodical, had developed an entrepreneur's appetite for bold decisions. Ellie, formerly focused on aesthetics above all, had become a pragmatic business operator with an eye for sustainable choices. 7 years after their impulsive purchase, as they sat on the castle's highest tower watching the sunset paint the valley gold, Ellie asked the question that had lingered between them. "Do you ever regret it?" Marcus considered this seriously. "I regret the mistakes we made. I regret the nights I couldn't sleep worrying about money. I regret that bathroom tile we chose for the west wing." Ellie laughed, nudging his shoulder. "But no," he continued. "I don't regret this. How could I? Look what we've created together." Below them, guests strolled through gardens that had once been overgrown wilderness. Light spilled from windows that had been boarded up for decades. Music and laughter floated from the terrace where a small wedding reception was taking place. They had done more than restore a building, they had breathed life back into a forgotten place and created a new chapter in its long history. "We should write a book about this someday," Ellie said. "Who would believe it?" Marcus replied with a smile. And that's the remarkable story of Thornfield Castle Hotel. Today, it's one of the most sought-after destinations in the region, boasting not just luxury accommodations but a soul that comes from being loved back to life by two friends who refuse to give up on their shared dream. If this story inspired you, remember to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more incredible journeys of transformation. Sometimes the greatest adventures begin with a wrong turn on a rainy day and the courage to ask, "What if?"